Let's see this particular question from 2021 paper 2ECZ under geometric progressions. The question reads, the second and the fifth terms of a GP are 16 and 2 respectively. Find the number one, the common ratio on the first term. So let's see how we go about finding the common ratio on the first term. The second question reads from the 12th term, and the last question reads, find the sum of the first 10 terms. Let's see how we go about this particular question. So the second term is 16 and the fifth term is 2. The second term can be written as AR is equals to 16. This is the first equation. And the fifth term can be written as AR to the power 4, which is equals to 2. And this becomes the second equation. Now, we want to find the value of A and R. So what you do, we have got two equations here, equation number 1 and equation number 2. So for you to do so, we need to divide one equation into the other. Now, how do you tell which one to divide? Well, we just check the powers of 4, rather the powers of R. The equation with the highest power of R will actually be the one to be divided into. In this case, the second equation is the one to be divided into, meaning this has to go into equation number 2. In this case, we say divide equation number 1 into equation 2. This simply means that equation number 1 will be written first. So say equation number 2 will be written first, and this will be AR to the 4th power. This equals to 2. Then we divide here over the equation number 2, which is AR, and here this is just 16. Then we cancel with R to the 4th over R to the 1st. And this gives us 2 into 2 is 1. 2 into 16 is 8. According to the laws of indices, when you divide in the sum bases, you actually subtract the exponents. In this case, we're going just to have one base, which is R right here, and the exponent to subtract. In this case, the exponents are 4 minus 1. And this will give us 1/8. Further, we go and say this is R to the 3rd power, which is equals to 1/8. Now what we want here is R. So what we do is to actually, we're going to cube root both sides. We cube root both sides, so that once we do this, we cancel this with R is equals to the cube root of 1 is 1, cube root of 8 is 2. Therefore, the value of R is 1/2. Let's see how we find the first term, which is A. Now let's find the first term, which is A. How do you get the first term? So what you do, you just pick one of the two equations. You pick the easiest equation, however. In this case, the first equation, or equation number 1, proves to be the easiest equation because of the power of R. So see here that AR gives us 16. But we know what R is. R is 1/2. And so this will be written as A times 1/2, giving us 16. A can be expressed as A over 1. And when you multiply the numerators with A times 1, which is A, the denominators will be 2 times 1, which is 2. And this will give us 16. We cross multiply. A times 1 is A. 2 by 16 is 32. Therefore, the first term is 32. This is how you get about it. Let's move on to the second question, which requires us to find the 12th term. Let's see how we go about it. The second equation, we're asked to find the 12th term. So the 12th term, check note, the 12th term can be written as AR to the 11th power. Remember, it's the position minus 1. The position of the term minus 1 will actually be the power of R. And so we're going to have AR to the 11th power. But A we know as 32, and the R as 0.5 raised to the 11th power. So in this case, if you multiply this, we'll have 32 times 0.5 to the 11th power. This gives us 0.015625. Expressing your answer correct to three significant figures. We have 0.0156. This will be your answer. Alternatively, you could leave your answer correct to, you could leave your answer as a fraction, and if you do so, you're going to have 1/64. So 1/64 is yet another answer. Yes, is it another way you could leave your answer. So you could leave it here as 0.0156 or as 1/64 or 1/64. This is how you go about finding the 12th term. Now let's turn attention to the third and last part, the sum of the first 10 terms. Let's see how we compute the sum of the first 10 terms. So the sum of the first n terms of the geometric progression, it has got two formulas, and those two formulas are dependent on the value of r. If r is less than 1, then the formula becomes the sum of the first n terms of the geometric progression is equals to a 1 minus r to the n over 1 minus r. But if r is greater than 1, then the formula becomes the sum of the first n terms of geometric progression becomes a over r to the n minus 1 close over r minus 1. So in our case, in this particular question, we see that the value of r is equals to 1/2, and 1/2 is less than 1. You see, 1/2 is less than 1, meaning it will be 1 minus r. So then here we're going to say the sum of the first n terms, in this case it will be 10 terms. Where there is n, we'll put a 10. So the sum of the first 10 terms of this particular progression will be equal to, the a is a 32, and this is 1 minus r 0.5 raised to the 10th power, and everything will be 1 minus 0.5. When I simplify this, you are going to appreciate that we're going to have in our numerator. So the numerator will be 31.96875. Everything over 1 take away half is half. So then when you divide that by 0.5, you're going to have 63.9375. Okay, this is 3 here, 75. Now we see here that your answer could be left in three significant figures, and this would be 63.9 as your answer. Alternatively, your answer could be left as a mixed fraction, and this will be 63/15/16 is yet another way you could leave your answer. Thank you for watching. Please follow along these videos. Appreciate them by subscribing and of course commenting where necessary. See you in my next video.